Are you looking for a couple of Valentine Day treat ideas last minute? If you've got some pie crust in your freezer, go ahead and pull them out, and I'm going to show you how to make a couple of last minute Valentine's Day treats. So these ready to use pie crusts typically come two to a box. So you're going to take out the first one, and we're going to make these cinnamon roll pie crust cookies. For the pie crust cinnamon rolls, you are going to need 2 tablespoons of butter and a little, brush to brush the butter on the pie crust. This part's optional, but instead of doing a glaze, I'm going to just sprinkle some powdered sugar on top of the cookies for the same effect. And let's see, we got some cinnamon sugar, and this part's optional too. This is just, I always, when I make cinnamon rolls, add brown sugar in addition to the cinnamon sugar. Make sure that you allowed plenty of time, if your pie crust was in the freezer, to allow it to thaw out. And it's okay if it tears a little bit. It's very easy to just put back together. Now, I know that some people like to cut the edges off and make it more square, but I don't want to waste any of this. I'm just going to go ahead and use the whole thing. So I'm going to take the butter, the melted butter. I'm just going to dab it. Added a little bit more light in here. I had to turn it on. There was kind of a shadow going on. Okay, so butter is on the pie crust. Next, just take your cinnamon sugar and sprinkle it on generously if you want. We like a lot of cinnamon. Next, I'm going to sprinkle on some brown sugar. I'm using dark brown. You can use light brown if you want, or you can omit this step altogether. I'd say this is about a packed tablespoon, and I'm just going to kind of drizzle it on. This is a great way to use, if you make pie crust from scratch, you know how you always cut off the sides and you have all this left over. This is a great way to not waste any of that pie crust. Next, we're just going to gently roll this up, kind of like the way it came when you got it out of the package. Next, you just want to go ahead and start cutting it. So they are going to look like this, and then you're just going to start laying them on your baking sheet. So you can clearly tell which ones are the end pieces because they're kind of reject looking, but that's okay. Like I said, I don't want to waste any of this. So next, I'm going to take the melted butter that I have left, and I'm just going to kind of go over the top of each one of these. So we're going to bake these at 450 for about 7 to 9 minutes. So my daughter had a good idea. She wanted to be able to dunk her cookies in a little bit of glaze. So I am going to sprinkle a little bit of powdered sugar on them when they come out of the oven. But I'm also going to just make a little bit of a glaze here. I'm just going to add a drop of vanilla. The stuff comes out fast, so there we go. I'm going to go ahead and just add it to the leftover butter that I have here. So I had to add a little bit more powdered sugar after I added a couple of drops of water. As anybody who knows that makes a glaze, it's a process. Sometimes you add a little more of one, and then you got to add a little more of the other. But that looks just about right. Look how cute these look. So I'm going to go ahead and let these cool off for a second, and we will be back to show you the end result. So you can jazz these up with sprinkles if you want, or you can make your own icing and drizzle it over the top. Chloe just wanted to be able to dunk hers. So here you go. Here's one of the ideas on how to use that pie crust for a Valentine's Day treat. So good, but more importantly, Chloe approves of them. Y'all may want to use unsalted butter. We use salted butter, so it kind of had a salt kick, but we still liked it anyway. Just a suggestion. Okay, for our second little Valentine's Day treat, we are going to make cherry waffles on a waffle iron out of pie crust. We're actually going to do a couple of different variations, so stick around and I'll show you what we do. Step 1, you want to unroll the dough. We had some breakaway pie crust that did not want to come out of the package, so we are going to just seal this back together. The good news about this pie crust is it's very forgiving. If you screw up, it's very easy to just mend it back together. So we are going to just cut this into 4 sections. So for the first section, I chose to use cherry pie filling because it's Valentine's Day and I just thought that would be a good choice. But you can use anything, any fruit pie filling that you want. You want to make sure not to overstuff this. So I'm going to put a couple of spoonfuls in here. On this next one, I wanted to do kind of a cheesecake, cherry cheesecake vibe. So I'm going to take just a scoop, maybe less than a tablespoon of cream cheese. I'm just going to put it in here. Then I'm just going to take a little of the cherry filling and drop that right on top of the cream cheese. So everyone knows how popular chocolate-covered cherry cordials are around Valentine's Day. So on this one, I'm going to put a little bit of the cherry filling and drop some chocolate chips on it. You can do white chocolate if you want. I just chose to drop some chocolate so we could have that whole cordial vibe going on. So on this fourth square, this fourth little section here, since it happens to be the biggest, I'm going to go ahead and use this one to put a little bit of everything in there. So I'm going to put some cream cheese, followed by some of the cherry pie filling. And just so we have a cherry chocolate cheesecake vibe going on, I'm going to drop some chocolate chips on there. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to throw some white chocolate chips on there, because why not? So now you want to just fold these over and create a little pocket so the filling stays intact when you put it on the waffle iron. This is why it's important not to overstuff it, so when you fold it, it won't ooze out too much. And I'm sure there will be a little bit that oozes out, but that's okay. Don't worry too much about them being different shapes, because once you put it on the waffle iron, it's going to go into the shape of a waffle anyway. So I have a small waffle iron, so I'm only able to do 2 of these at a time. And I'm going to put them closer to the middle, so if they ooze out, they're not going to run out of the waffle iron machine. And I can't remember if I said, but I sprayed it, some non-sticking spray. We'll be back. Okay, so they're ready. As you can see, we lost a little bit, but that's okay. These look delicious. I think that waffle irons are one of the most underrated, underappreciated appliances that people have in their kitchen. You can make so many more things than waffles. You can do sandwiches. You can do muffins, brownies, cookies. I've got a couple different videos on making cornbread for my chili and things like that. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. The only problem is now I forgot which one I stuffed with what, so I guess it'll be a nice pleasant surprise. So if you wanted to do these as a dessert, because they definitely are sweet, you can add a little ice cream to it. You can use some of your leftover pie filling and just put that on top like a syrup. You can do some sprinkles. You can add some fresh fruit. You can make a glaze. To me, I think they're sweet as is, so just for presentation purposes, I'll just sprinkle a little bit of powdered sugar. But I hope you give these a try. Please drop in the comment section some of your favorite easy Valentine's Day treats. Y'all have a blessed day.